Good evening or afternoon, depending where you are, and welcome to this Division C East match today. I'll be caster O Linebus, and today we're going to be seeing Team Banshee versus 2Calculated2Throw. One day I will get that transition a bit quieter just to match for balance, but until then, let's just talk about what we are seeing today. We are seeing actually to start Tomb of the Spider Queen. I'm not sure who picked by. As I say, every series I prefer going into the cast blind. I don't like knowing how many maps there are and like who won them. And the only unfortunate way to not see that is unfortunately if I don't want to see that, I do have to remove myself from some of the information. Map picks and ban whoever first picks or first picks heroes or first pick maps is unfortunately just a byproduct of that. So Tomb of Spider Queen, we saw by Team Banshee bans on Volskaya and Cursed Hollow, while 2Calculated2Throw banned Sky Temple and Towers of Doom. Some bans that we've been seeing more and more throughout the season. But right, let's not wait too long and get into the game as I push hopefully the right button. Nope. Yep. Right, excellent. Didn't do it wrong. Give me 2 moments as I just quickly make sure this stops. And I go back to where I can see things. Right, on the side of Team Banshees, we see MBB424 on the Varian, Notice Me on Lunara, Jakuval on Thrall, XX Lunatic XX on the Stukov, and Full Throttle on Kael'thas. On the right hand side, we have Fear on the Garrosh, Kobo on the Zebo, Scooterman on the Raynor, Corfin on the Sonya, and Grevant on Malfurion. I don't know if it's just me or it's other people. I'm fine with like what heroes are called normally, but as soon as I have to look and like determine what they are very quickly, I can't figure it out. Full Throttle gets thrown, is able to dodge the route by running upwards and actually just loses half their health for that throw, but ultimately does not really take much damage. Right, we're just having the general, actually rather slow clears of these first waves. Garrosh taking Kael'thas just getting that extra little bits of damage out here and there with that bomb. Garrosh being told that is no longer your bush by the Stukov being forced out by the silence as we see rotations happening up to top. Notice me just slowly poking this Garrosh down. Garrosh nearly got trapped by his own Zebo, however wasn't smart enough to back out. And that'll actually be MBB 424 thrown and going down. That will be the first blood going over to the side of 2Calculated2Throw. Garrosh barely missing that groundbreaker. Right, let's have a quick look at some talents. As we did actually see Sonya is considering the double soaking here, and we do see that. We're getting some very stellar things. We do see Rolling Thunder from Thrall. Thrall's percent damage build, I say, his green build, as some people call it, did get buffed recently, as we do see that just percent damage going through. Otherwise, we do see another recent buffed talent from Lobo from Stukov doing 125% extra damage to people under 50% health as opposed to the old 100. Anyway, everything else looks relatively standard. The only thing to know of questing talents is Mana Addict from Kael'thas, Spiders from the Zebo, something that's become very standard as of late, and Groundbreaker, Warbreaker from Garrosh. Now, I kind of got the break a bit right at least, but no. And that is Sonya going down, and that unfortunately is a few gems by the look of it. Oh my, that is not ideal for the side of 2Calculated2Throw, but excellent for Team Banshee. However, both teams are still very close in terms of gems because of MBB's death from earlier. However, we do see Force come in, and this is where truly Varian starts to become a real hero, as we do see Taunt picked up. Now that we do see this, that essentially Team Banshee has an actual tank. Very helpful in the long run of things. Ultimately, you don't need a tank, but definitely helpful to have one, especially because we do see an excellent setup, and then probably followed by the silence or the Kael'thas stun. So we got a good old taunt, quick taunt, follow up with a stun or some sort of CC. Then followed up with, well, hopefully is a lot of damage. We do see the attempt Fair happening. Full throttle try to get the stun off and Varian follow up. However, Fair didn't get hit by the stun and is able to get out. And we did see three members of 2Calculated2Throw getting out this camp very quick. Should be getting a lot of pressure onto for Thrall, and Thrall doesn't have spectacular wave clear. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, but Echo of the Elements is typically picked if you want a bit more wave clear. And actually, since we're down here, Corfin is running for their dear life. That extra move speed from their trait just able to give him out. MBB 424 thrown into the gate, taking actually a reasonable amount of damage. Garrosh is silenced, taunted into silence, and yep, goes down. That is very unfortunate. Corfin maybe soon to follow, but nope, gets out of the gate. Griffin hitting enough of those moon fires to keep them up and alive. We're still very close on turn-ins here. Both teams, one team has it now, actually the other team is 4 out. I should probably say what team for anyone who just likes listening. Team Banshee has got a turn-in. Well, actually, I did say that 2Calculated2Throw was 4 out, but no, all the gems were picked up, so nothing lost. They're only 3 out at this point. As we just go back to seeing general clearing. Thrall handing in now, very wise, 20 of them. 20 of the gems. Garrosh getting the front to MBB, however not much comes from it as no one was there to follow up. Let's see again, these general safe rotations. Garrosh is going down very quickly, gets the W on to notice me, however will go down. We did see that Stukov extra damage just ticking in, hurting ultimately. I just want to have a quick look at some talents. We do see a burst build from Lunara. This, for a while, this was just a bit niche, but as of late, and especially with a taunt variant with follow-ups of CC and such, this choking pollen can get a lot of damage. In my testing, it can get about 900 damage around the level 10 area, which is nothing to sneeze at, really. That is a very strong hit, and we just need one more gem handed in for the side of Corfin. Careful, bud. Corfin backs out, and we just need one blue gem turned in from the side of Team Banshee, and it looks like Notice Me has that exact one gem. Exact change. Wow, I like it. Give me a moment, sorry. And I am back. Right, first Web Weaver's going over to the side of Team Banshee. Should get a decent amount of macro pressure on it. I do actually like the push power between, well, mainly on Notice Me, but Kalphas can do a fair bit as well with those bombs and the flame strikes and the whatnot. Starting to sound like an old man over here, just trying to understand the game. Scooter Man did go ace of a hole, so not execution. Executioner isn't talent anymore. Excellent route doesn't actually quite save him. Fair does have to back out and pick up those gems. And Zero backing out as well. Gets hit by the Lunara Q. Yes, that is her Q. But however, it takes a decent chunk of the damage but does not go down. No Malfurion on the board means that 2Calculated2Throw has to play a bit safer. You see him doing that here. Varian goes into taunt Garrosh under tower. Garrosh takes a lot of health, and that will be them down. That's a lot of gems just sitting up in this area. Varian getting very aggressive. Varian's actually a very good tower diver for situations like this. His parry actually means tower shots do not hit them. There's the taunt, there's the stun, there's the silence. As I called earlier, they are just looking to get a quick in and out fight, get one pick, and run away. And they've been doing it very effectively thus far. Corfin has to be a bit safe here. Excellent taunt. Has to use leap to get out, however it works as the follow-up would have been there and Corfin may have actually gone down if they did not use that leap in that moment. Right, we do see actually heroic talents out on both sides. We see more charges from Varian. I don't hate it. We'll see if it pays off, but I'm always a fan of a protect, especially when you do have things such as Nazebo on the board, especially this current iteration of Spider Nazebo. Thornwood Vine, yep, you're playing a safer Pope style on Lunara, so it makes total sense. Front swipes on Stukov, yep. Phoenix, okay, zone control, I like it, and Earthquake, so more zone control. So we do actually have some zone team fight on the side of Team Banshee. They're not just a go in, taunt, CC. And we will be seeing Fear going down as they were separated from the rest of their squad. That's very unfortunate for them, and that actually looks like the team Banshee will be pushing in here. And on the right hand side, in terms of heroics, we see Hyperion, Gargantuan, Leap, Twilight Dream, and Warlord's Challenge? Or is it? Yeah, Warlord's Challenge. So both teams have a taunt now. And we see again that taunt being used very effectively, and that will be Sonya going down. Ouch. Is all I have to say about that. And we see this. Yep. The building will be unfortunately going down right about now, as the red team has no way to contend at this point in time. 13's it through much earlier for the side of Team Banshee. Yes, that's the name. So just taking a brief look. Okay. Sorry, just taking have some water. And that's the second web weaver turned in by the side of Team Banshee. We see with these consecutive turn-ins that it's actually, if you get a back-to-back turn-in, that is a lot of pressure that adds up. And we do already see 2 forts down on the side of 2Calculated2Throw. So we're very likely going to see this third fort taken at least. That is how the blue team is posturing current point in time, especially since they're up talents. Charge actually manages to hit the Nazebo, and Nazebo has to back out. Full Throttle wasn't able to get the stun off there, maybe because of a wall, but maybe because of minions. It's too hard to tell. Phoenix goes out making sure they have an area to secure this building. Sonya, we see Corfin actually clearing this up, as we do know that the 2Calculated2Throw is still down 13s, something that you need. However, this is looking a bit hairy. Corfin making a very good heads-up play of backing. Notice me, it's getting very close and didn't quite make it. You're a very lucky man there, Corfin. My word, that was a bit too close for comfort. Right, we do see the red team coming down to defend this lane. However, we still see there's no 13s. Corfin takes a bomb, gets taunted, gets hit by the flame strike, gets stunned, and is going down to the Stukov silence. Actually, Garrosh was very close to follow. Stukov did go at 13, but where if it hits in hero 8 times, it will reset the cooldown of Lurking Arm. And it nearly took Fear's life for that. Alright, we see Naz is defending top, while we see the blue team of Team Banshee just wanting this building. Phoenix gets pulled out again, is just going to focus it. Grevenant stepping up a bit too much, gets taunted, however follow-up is not quite there, as Bear decides to flank, pulling some of the attention away from their own. Excellent leap, does not quite save a Garrosh, but looks at Twilight Dream, goes out to large silence. Bear actually hits this Groundbreaker, giving them the shield that they need to survive. Corfin, however, will not be so lucky, as that Lunara point. Oh, never mind. Flame Strike takes down Garrosh. Corfin is still up thanks to the Malfurion. Scooterman is getting very low. Will go down to the Calvis as well, as that will be a free for one trade essentially, which, considering death times are still low, not fantastic. It's alright actually. It could be worse. It's not fantastic, but it could be worse. Charges to notice me. I wonder if that was an accidental charge. Corfin then gets taunted, however the follow-up doesn't quite hit them. We do see Garrosh is up now, and we may actually see a change of plans from Team Banshee as they back out, doing 5%, no, 2, doing 8% damage to the core. Well, death times are still low, not surprised that there wasn't a end here. It still was quite a good push in all. We see a boss play coming from the side of, or at least a bait. I'm not sure. No, it is going to be a boss play. They know that they do have a 16 talent advantage, so are able to take this space that really 2Calculated2Throw cannot contest without, well, throwing. May not be living up to their namesake if they do that. Right, Garrosh is turning at bottom. Keep in mind that this is only still the first turn-in for the side of 2Calculated2Throw. Lanes are actually relatively well pushed out, all considering. Web Weavers will be landing quite high up for the most part. However, we do have this mess happening up here. Jakuba stepping up, getting that crash lining off. We do see Hyperion coming out to help zone the enemies away. Bear is looking very tasty to Varian at the moment. Varian wanting to taunt, and there it is. Unstoppable coming out from Fear. Fear, however, is just taking too much time. Groundbreaker actually keeps him alive for a little bit longer than they possibly should have, and that is a variant taunt into the boss stun. Ouch! Gosh! Scooter Man has to run out. Variant will take a quick nap in the petting zoo of the Zebo zombies, however, will continue to run away. This boss did a decent push, getting that top 4. These Web Weavers doing a lot to alleviate pressure. We did see mid-fort taken on the side of the red team, but however, that is yet another person for 2Calculated2Throw going down, and that looks like it'll be a core call. MBB still relatively low actually, but no, that is 60-50. Slowly going down, we see Asleep coming out full throttle, not much done. MBB actually gets thrown into and killed, however, it'll be a bit too little too late, as that will be the first match going over to the side of Team Banshee. Right, let me just pull up some summary screen definitely screen real quickly, as I just hope the chat vanishes soon enough, because I don't know how some of the settings of this game works. Yeah, we did see quite a bit more dominant performance from the side of Team Banshee. An 18-3 by all means is nothing to sneeze at. Like, that is quite a lot, but we just saw their plan executed a bit better than the plan of 2Calculated2Throw. So Team Banshee did have that, as I said, early game. Taunt, follow-up CC, kill. And fortunately, both Kalefish and Stukov are excellent for that. Speaking of Kalefish, they did very well that game. I'm always sad when I see Phoenix over Pyro in games like these. I hate seeing Pyro in my normal quick match games, because I'm like, well, I have no healer, I guess I'm going to die. But no, here is it. Phoenix paid off very well with that extra zone control, especially with Thrall's Earthquake. Other things to note was Stukov 52k healing on a very actually low damage game. Well, Malfurion only at 34, but unfortunately Malfurion wants a sustained fight. And well, the fight, what the team of Team Banshee wanted was just that quick get in, kill someone as fast as possible, get out, which Malfurion unfortunately cannot deal with. The thing is that 2Calculated2Throw did have a similar plan with Garrosh Malfurion, it just didn't seem to quite connect some of the time. It hit maybe once or twice, and we did see maybe those two coming in kills, I can't quite recall properly. However, that will be all that I have for this summary. I'll just quickly show some talents just so you can see what happened. The Zebra did actually have his stacks up, so if they got to the late game, may have turned in their favor. However, it was, again, a bit going to be too little too late by the looks of it. Silence Build and Stukov has become popular recently. I will note that we did see that coming through. It paid off very well for their blow up. But otherwise, yes, I am going to take a quick break while we set up map number 2 for you. See you in a few moments. And we are back. Right, we did see the first map of the series taken by the side of Team Banshee. I'm unsure about what map, who picked map pick and who picked first pick. Sorry, I'm unsure whether 2Calculated2Throw took map pick or first pick. I try not to spoil myself how the games go, so again, unfortunate byproduct of that. However, we do see a Battlefield of Eternity. But let's not dally around and get into the game. If I didn't mess up my transitions, and there we go. Excellent, we do see the loading happening properly as I did get it. Go me. On the left-hand side of Team Banshee, we see Notice Me on the... Oh, now I'm doing it again. Karazim, full throttle on the Vala. MBB424 on the... I can't remember his name all of a sudden. I was about to call him a big lizard, I'm gonna be honest. Big overgrown lizard, but no, it is MBB424 on Diablo. Lunatic on the Lucio and Chakuval on Malfail. On the right hand side of 2Calculated2Throw, Hawthorne on the Sonya. Scooterman back on that Raynor, Grevenant on Anduin, Fear on Uther. I have a favourite team now in this matchup, and Kobo on the Chromie. Right, let's just open up some talents while we get the opening posturing. Scooterman does actually scout that MBB424, just to note. Interesting that we see Ace in the hole here. It's not the usual pick we have seen. We do see actually Exterminator happening on the... I believe it's Exterminator. Yes, I meant Diablo. And we do actually see Corfin being rotated on by MBB, and Notice Me. That is a first stun flip. However, that flip may have caused Coffee, as Corfin is actually able to spin out. Thank you to Sonya's Whirlwind actually letting you spin out of that danger. Both sides are running double healer, which is very interesting. So we should see a very interesting matchup here. And we see Diablo and the Karazim rotate back down. Karazim will notice Iron Fist, something that we've been seeing a lot more on this map. Fear actually will be taking a lot of damage and goes down. Very unfortunate. However, Uther at least has his healing buffed in this mode. So there's positives to everything. And that will be Uther's Ghost going. Just to note some stacking talents, we do see Uther did go Q at 1, so we'll be stacking vote every time he gets damaged, while... Not he, but any time an character from his with his armor gets damaged, he'll get further stack. We receive 32. 80 is needed there. Diablo getting those souls up on 23. Charge goes off, doesn't quite connect a stun onto anyone, but definitely is a hassle. Bear slowly walking up, gets onto the objective, stuns. MBB, however, Kobo taking a lot of damage from Notice Me, as Notice Me is running them down. This one last goat man is staying alive. Kobo taking a lot of damage. If Fear goes down, that hourglass actually means that the camp will go over to the side of Team Banshee. Ugh! My words today. 71 stacks now on Uther, nearly complete. But one last thing to note is Vala went Q quest, and however did not manage to get any stacks there. So we are seeing that Q build race from Vala. Fear taking a lot of damage very quickly, is able to back out. Scooterman actually halving to get mana. We do see that these Immortals are about to be called, so people are probably going to set up for those camps, and we do see Anduin and Raynor heading there. I have to ask Raka now that you're in chat actually, do you ever just look at a hero? You're fine usually with looking at heroes and knowing their names, but as soon as you're casting, you just look at it and go, just, if I get this right, just going, yes, skateboarding, music man. Let's just follow him around trying to remember names. As I just zoom back out, Fear just getting a little bit more poke on. Excellent, just stun followed by the Chromie. Both camps coming out at a reasonable time. I see. Never said something very odd. It just wasn't even a word. It was just a jumble of letters, essentially. Oh, that will actually be Sonya going down, and the other siege camp going over to the side, or also over to the side of Team Banshee. You know, that would make far more sense for me to do that, but here we are with me getting confused over heroes. No one racing it, as we actually just see this push happening up here, being defended. So this bruiser camp just happening to be cleared, like most bruiser camps. And this one we're actually getting a decent amount of pressure. However, unfortunate that this tower does manage to target this shaman first. We see a retreat call coming out from what appeared to be Lunatic, I believe. However, this race At least for the first half, we'll be going over to the side of Team Banshee by the look of it. A very important thing to note actually is the race on Team Banshee will get better once Full Throttle gets Monster Hunt. Is likely going to get Monster Hunter at 7. Stun out onto Lucio. Doesn't quite have a follow-up yet. But we'll see that probably come in a bit later into the game, considering how long it goes. Corfin taking a lot of damage. Actually quite low going in. Gets stun out onto Diablo to actually save Corfin. Corfin nearly spears back in. Still a bit low on health. However, a lot of the blue side is as well. So a very good defense coming out from red here. However, no one is racing. So it's actually Diablo going down. That damage coming out. What do we see will happen here? Kobo is actually very low on mana. All the red team is running low on resources. Yep, we see Scooter Man going to race. And now that they've seen this, the blue team is stepping back up, looking to get back in here and try finish off the job. They will do their best to defend, but however, that looks like it will be the red team. Not the red team, the team of Team Banshee committing to the race, and that will be Immortal going over to the side of Team Banshee. I should note that even with the head start that Team Banshee had going into that Immortal phase, it was still a very close race. As you see this Immortal shields actually quite low. And if for people who don't know, basically the Immortal shields are equal to the amount of health they have left at the end of the phase. Cobra's still quite low. MBB actually getting very aggressive, gets the stun off onto Anduin. Anduin getting followed up by the Notice Me, however, will take a lot of damage, but nothing comes of it. That's unfortunate. As MBB actually took more damage throughout that exchange than Revenant. I'm saying his name wrong. It's just Grevant, isn't it? Well, I was going to say you win some, you lose some, but I'm just talking about names, so I should really try to get that right. Sorry, Grevant, if you do so happen to listen to this. Now, Sonya, I hope you do this quick, because I think they've figured out where you are. Just the anticipation. Oh, Corfin. Corfin does manage to get off, gets actually dove and actually made lose their life of this. Yep. Diablo's doing their best to keep them. Sonya's spinning as much as they can, moving through people. The pull on 8 health, and no, the Q from Valor actually takes it out. That is so unfortunate. It was almost an amazing save from Anduin, just didn't quite do enough. Essence Stone coming out from Fear does not have any sort of reset yet, as Notice Me would have been better target, however it's not in line of sight. Fear will go down as a Hungering Arrow, as well as the Karazim will finish them off. And again, that is an Ufa healing buff. Maybe not so much for them missing a hero, and that will almost be a full level advantage over the side of Team Banshee. However, that will be a lot happening, as we did see camp taken by Malthael during that exchange. Corfin does have to go on defend, however Malthael does alright here. And we do see 10s, that looks like last rites. 7-sided strike. Barlow went Rain of Vengeance, so I'm just going to open this for ease. Lightning Breath from Diablo, so we do see that damage ult coming through. Should be very interesting. We're just waiting on what Lucio chooses. I'm expecting a high 5. But now that I've said that, it's very likely it's going to be Sound Barrier, just because the game said no to me. Yep, that was actually last rites used, as we see here. I need to keep better look on map whenever I call that this stuff is, whenever I'm looking at talents, just because reading talents. Yep, whoops. But yeah, as I said, Sound Barrier came through immediately after I said, probably going to see high 5 because of the stuns remover, this, that, and the other. Nope. I was told I was wrong by the game. We do see Siege Camp, the Shaman Camp pushing top, and we do see the... No one's actually going to defend it early on. Okay. We do see Fear stepping up here, trying to get in. Karazim lying very patiently to dive in here. Malthael actually losing a lot of health very quickly. That is 7-sided strike coming out. But Protect actually from Anduin does a lot there. I was not expecting to see Power Words, Holy Word Salvation. That's a good double stun. Notice Me getting very low, very early. Chromie Soy Slans. My English today is excellent. I will not have anyone questioning it. As we do see the red team starting to race, as Ufa is just anchoring this top area, making sure no one gets any quick race onto it, as we are over past the halftime. MBB wasn't even allowed to get the auto attack out before Fair stunned, but that is a bit rude. And we see Corfin also coming up to help defend, as Fair against at least 3 or 4 others is not a good idea. Excellent double root yet again, and that will be the stun coming out in MBB. Immortal is a very good follow-up stun sometimes. It's a decent amount of damage and actually stops you for quite a while. That is Corfin getting stunned. Corfin actually is able to get out. Last Rites is on a relatively full health Sonya, so it doesn't do much. Everyone's standing in there. Corfin actually will be first go down as they took slightly too much damage. Quickly followed by Lucio. That is the larger portion of healing down from the side of Team Banshee. As we do see the Immortal phase going over this time to the side of 2Calculated2Throw. It's very good that actually has gone in this lane for 2Calculated. As well, they already are missing a lot of their structure, and this could help even up potentially. Only thing to note, Malphite is getting this side stock while Sonya's only just respawned. Scooterman getting that damage on. The red team just focusing. Notice me actually. It was a bit of a situation. If Fear was a bit closer, that would have been a lot of stuns coming out. There's Divine Storm coming out. Notice me taking a decent amount of damage. That will be the fort going down. Thank you to the Immortal. Fear takes a lot of damage. That Lightning Breath actually adds up quite a lot over time. As we do see the Immortal going down, as well as that first fort. I see quite an aggressive rotation here. I think the team has called for get Malphite, however, will be seen. Excellent leap, stun, slowing sands, root. That was a very quick blow up. I'm not gonna lie, I just looked at chat like, oh my lord, did you see that? But I just see right. My French is also not good, I'm gonna be honest. So you see Sonya sieging in here. Actually gets charged but does not hit a wall, and that move speed will keep her barely out of reach of Diablo, even with a Lucio move speed, as Amp It Up was not on cooldown. Hungering Arrow hits Corfin. As we actually see this starting to get stacked up. 18 is decent, especially with Monster Hunter. It's going to start doing a lot to Immortal probably during the next phase. You see Sonya's wanting this top camp, however Malphite may meet them there. A slow poke wall. Yep, both teams are clearing things. Bear gets charged by Diablo, however it does get the stun off himself. Takes a decent amount of damage from 7-sided strikes, but will be forced to back out. Diablo actually ended up worse off of that exchange. Someone with a lot of sustain, especially with his W though, taking a lot, and actually that is Karazim going down. A decent chunk of damage. MBB getting relatively low. Those flames keeping them alive as that extra sustain, as I said just before, does a lot in the grand scheme of things. Chromie is yet to pick her 11. No, that's right, it is her 14. 2 levels before. I misread that, so sorry. Excellent, we see the Siege Camp coming out. Both bruises are up, but we do see red for red side of 2Calculated2Throw. Very intent on taking this structure. Immortals are coming up, however. Now, excellent leap onto Lucio. Lucio taking a lot of damage. His Sound Barrier up, is able to get out. Never mind me talking about high five there. Sound Barrier did excellent. Hollywood Salvation does a lot. Gets actually a team up just enough, and actually that is Lucio going down first. Fear actually will go down here, and as I said before, that is a healing buff, however, slightly away from the rest of the team. Corfin spinning to winning. MBB will go down there as just the double healing coming out, still keeping them sustained. Gives the red team an advantage. I should also mention throughout this whole thing, Scooterman sieging away, and Malphite took top fort. Malphite, not the best person actually taking buildings, as buildings don't have souls, funny that. However, the minions did plenty. We do see a lot of siege coming out from the side of, a lot of damage out of this Immortal coming out on the side of 2Calculated2Throw. However, Scooterman did get caught out there by the Diablo and such. That is last rites, and that is Reynor going down. Again, I'm forgetting hero names, but I'm trying my best, so please bear with me through this. Full Throttle is going back onto that race. Yep, we do see Phil Q just coming out. Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. Rest of us, we do see a 3-man defense here. Corfin getting relatively low, however we know last rites is no longer out as it was used on someone that fight. Bear walking at them very aggressively. That slowing sands actually helping a lot. Doesn't actually quite have stun up by the looks of it. Leap gets the Karazim, excellent, and that will be Karazim going down. Sound Barrier coming out slightly too late. Stun coming out on Malphite, excellent stuff, excellent stuff. Vala has been racing this whole time, is actually getting them in this good. Hollywood Salvation. We see a very close race, and it will go barely over to the side of 2Calculated2Throw with a 22 health left on Vera Immortal. Unfortunately, Vala was missing throughout that fight, and that is a lot of damage missing on the side of Team Banshee, and we did actually see it matter in the end, as while everyone on the red team of 2Calculated2Throw got quite low, it wasn't quite enough in the end. Sonya is off getting that side stroke as both teams are on 16. So we're going to have a quick look at the talents, just bring it up real quick. Main thing to note here is Benediction on the side of Ufa. We have a faster cooldown from Malphite, so they should be able to last longer. Vala went Manticore, pretty standard stuff. Rejuvenessa. We see the dash punches from Karazim, been a bit popular as of late, especially with this damage build. However, a lot of people choose that unstop, so we should be very interesting here. This Immortal did at least get the front four, getting this most part of this front gate, however, will not survive very long as they did not have much of a shield. Good choice here by 2Calculated just to retreat. They don't want to fight under fort, but keep even. That would be a better word for it. And they do just decide to do this camp. They're holding very aggressively. They do actually have Divine Storm up, so got a decent amount of lockdown on them between Benediction and Divine Storm. That is what I like to refer to as sizable stun time, because I don't know the numbers. Okay, Fear has no one scouted this safe side of bush, so I'm just going to close this very quick. That will be the stun on Fear. Flip. Good stun, and we do see a 3-man leap on the backline. Fear taking a lot of damage from its 7-side strike, does get the stun out, doesn't seem to do much, and that'll be Corfin soon to follow. There's 2 kills over from the side of Team Banshee. Actually, Chromie manages to find the Lucio for all that, and that'll be a 3rd kill coming out onto the Raynor. Excellent route, meaning that the red team was able to disengage. And it looks like the core has been made the core has been made on the side of Team Banshee to invade the enemy's bruiser camp. Not much that the side of 2Calculated2Throw can do during this, as they're missing essentially both their frontliners off Ufa and Sonya. Our only saving grace here is that everyone will be up again by the time Immortals respawn. However, these bruisers do have to be defended, as the Shaman can push for a while with these dogs being summoned. However, this tower will target them early, and that is a very unfortunate for that one Shaman. Right, we are seeing the Immortals coming up as I zoom out fully for this so we can get a nice view. We do see actually in bottom lane that we do see this bruiser pushed up a bit, and we will see the red team respect that Shaman, as the Shaman is almost a second objective in some senses, that it can take a lot of building with those dogs protecting waves. Right, let's just zoom back in as the teams are very close. We do hear those Karazim punches, actually quite loud coming through. Corfin has to be very careful, gets pulled out of danger almost immediately. I said damage, but it still works. Excellent spear. Diablo about to a third of herself. First stun coming out onto Lunatic, second stun coming out onto Lunatic, that's a third, and a 4th stun coming out onto Lunatic. Lunatic was just unable to do anything that whole time. Anduin was told, no, let's not have that powered Hollywood Salvation. Actually, that is a triple kill to Malphite, as everyone was standing in Diablo's Lightning Breath and Malphite's AoE. That is a stun coming out onto Scooterman. Scooterman taking a lot of damage, will be able to push them away, and actually doesn't quite go down. This actually is an ideal spawn for the side of... Oh, not most ideal. For the side of 2Calculated2Throw, but they are able to get some safe poke onto the Immortal, especially with Kobo's Piercing Sands, and that will be a very healthy Immortal over to the side of Team Banshee. Getting very scared here for the side of 2Calculated2Throw, as we do see Storm Talents coming in for the side of Team Banshees. Team Banshees? Plural? Are they all Banshees? Or are they as a collective one Banshee? Too hard to tell. But we do see Hellgate from Diablo. No one can stop death from Malphite. Fist of Legend from Karazim. Lucio still deciding, and Fireflight Quiver from Vala. Oh, there we go. It is... I'm going to have to mouse over this. House Parties, so an extra healing out for the Lucio. Karazim is an interesting... The Karazim 20 of the Fist of Legends is an interesting pickup. Not many people pick it. Some people actually consider it a bit bad, but we should see how Notice Me does with this, as we do see This Immortal is still quite healthy, and it can snowball a bit. No one can stop death is a very standard pick as well, unless you instantly respawn. Actually, Corfin nearly went down there to 7-side strike, but was pulled out by Anduin. Very kids up play. As we do see double pull from Anduin, so it may actually still be up. Unsure at this current point in time. Diablo took a root from the Anduin. Got getting hit by Keep there for a little bit. The health goes down. Bear slowly backing out as no true engage. Excellent. I think that Q from Scooterman was able to stop Diablo charging them. Full Throw is stuck in the middle of slowing sands. It takes a decent amount of damage. A dash over heal from Kerosene, keeping them up and alive. Bear getting relatively low. Stun coming out from That's Ariat Crater. Actually, that is not Sonya stuck in there with... They're not stuck in there with Sonya. Sonya is stuck in there with them. As Diablo charging. Bear goes down here. That will be a very unfortunate death. Gremlin losing a lot of their health. Able to get back to this Hall of Storms, but however, this core is slowly falling still. As it looks like it was an end call coming up from the side of Team Banshee. That'll be Diablo going down first, however, Soulstone was out, so even if they decide to back off, Diablo will be coming back. However, they decide to go in even further, 19, 18, core slowly falling. There's actually Kerosene going out, 10% on call. Can the two of Malthael and Lucio do it? And Malthael barely does it. Very close to the end, but that will be the game and the series going over to the side of Team Banshee, as I am going to quickly make sure I transition to this and make sure we're on this page. Chromie did a lot of damage that game, but Chromie's damage unfortunately is quite chaotic, as a lot of kind of long-range siege mages are. Is yes, you can aim it, but sometimes your aim is just, I'm going to hit the biggest group of people possible and do a lot of damage. And that was actually doing a lot of damage. The however caveat is always a thing. Double healer really negates that sort of playstyle. As we saw Lucio doing a lot of healing during that, as well as Kerosene doing almost 45. Let's just be nice and say almost 45,000. It was more of the 40,000 side, but hey. Diablo actually doing the most damage. As I said, that Flame Breath build does a lot. The Lightning Breath on the Fire Stomp does a lot of damage, ultimately in the end. It still is relatively tanky, all considering. Vala may have actually probably beaten them if they had kept up damage. Oh, sorry, who sorry if I asked Redden, because I'm not sure about names. Who are you in this game? What's your in-game name? Notice. Right on. Okay, let's ignore what I said about Thistle Legend then and just pretend I was nice the whole time. But no, actually, this was a much closer game. Far more fun to, from at least a viewer's point of view compared to the first game. But as we were saying, excellent damage coming out from Diablo. Very close. We see Chromie didn't die at all. Nice little thumbs up to him. As we're just going to have a quick look at some talents. Vala did actually get quite stacked to me, and getting 27 on the puncturing arrow. I did actually say it was Farflight Quiver, but it didn't occur to me till just now that it was that instead of the Acrobat, which we usually see with Q-Build as the resets gets a lot out. It's not planned. We saw the UFO and knew they had played double here. Okay, good to know. Well, it paid off in the end, as we saw in the game, even though it was still very close. Again, we see a lot of standard picks. Saying that Shifting Sands is very common in this Q-Build still. It may have been, not sure if it was the pick, but they did definitely execute it particularly well. Ace of a Hole, again, being a weird pick for this map. I do wonder if things would have changed a bit more if they had gone... I keep wanting to say it's Executioner. I can't remember Reynor's talents, but it's the level 1 talent that basically does more to non-heroic targets. But yeah, all in all, that was a good series, as I will throw it over to the screen, update the scores, and I will say thank you everyone for watching. Spelled... Okay. I was still close at least, but thank you for telling me it wasn't Extermination. But yes, that will be the game and series going over to Team Banshee. Thank you for everyone for watching, and this was actually a wonderful game to cast yet again. I got to see some Ufa. I like Ufa, even if Ufa didn't win. We're going to ignore that. But I will be going saying a good night to you all. I'm not sure if I have time for another cast, so if I just abruptly stop after this, have a good night all, because I think I have a team practice and game shortly. I will be going to a break, and we will see what happens in just a few moments.